All right, Jonathan, we got this month in tech history. What do we got?
So I'll start on April 26th. We have Chernobyl virus melts down PCs.
Let me get to that.
There it is.
What? How do you pronounce that?
Chernobyl?
Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I know that because there's a place called Chernobyl that we learned about in school. It had
An actual place?
Yeah, it's an actual place.
Where's it located?
Chernobyl?
Not in the US, is it?
No. They had a nuclear disaster over there. Kind of wiped out a lot of stuff.
Chernobyl. Do a quick Google search on that.
There you go.
Chernobyl disaster. Oh, Ukrainian, SSR, Soviet Union. Interesting. Well, that's kind of cool. So I wonder, when was that? I wonder if that's why they called it Chernobyl.
Through the same time.
This was April 26, 1986. And this actually, April 26, 1999.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
That is funny.
They're like celebrating the anniversary, and then this virus came out.
They called it Chernobyl virus because it melts down PCs.
Oh man!
So what did this do? This like it triggers on this day. Oh, so they actually had been releasing it, and it didn't trigger until April 26th, which was the anniversary of the Chernobyl meltdown.
Oh wow!
And so people had it on their computers for the longest time, but it went undetected until April 26th. And then it just turns on. And it was one of the most destructive viruses in history. Turkey, South Korea alone reported 300,000 infected systems.
Wow.
It erased the hard drives. That sucks. Wow. But this was 1999, so this was Windows 95, 98 era. And the internet was just starting to come online too. That's crazy. That's cool. What else you got?
Next, we have on April 27, commercial computer mouse introduced. Whoa. They didn't have mice? Whoa, look at that mouse too. So square.
That was the mouse. That was introduced by Xerox.
Good job.
So the story goes that, I don't know how, I'm trying to remember how Steve Jobs was somehow involved in Xerox. And so he stole the idea from Xerox. And because Xerox didn't have it patented, there was nothing that Xerox could do about it. Or I don't think, maybe, I wish I knew the whole story exactly how it was. Maybe Xerox didn't care. They didn't see this as technology that was going to be like ongoing. They were like, let's just do this for now type of thing. You know, they didn't think of it as the mouse was going to be the technology to use. I mean, now it's like mouse went from a simple 2-button to like with the wheel.
Yeah.
You got the 2 buttons still, but then you also have these side buttons right here.
They're more like comfortable for your hand too, like it fits.
Exactly. Yeah. It kind of fits on the palm so that you can actually palm the mouse and it disappears under your hand type of thing. So yeah, it's like who knew that this clunky mouse was going to be, streamlined into the future. It's almost like I could almost compare this mouse to the Model T Ford, This was the Model T of mouse, of mouse technology.
Like they have the same shape, they have the same buttons, like but these are like a lot more upgraded now. We got like cruise control right here. This is
Exactly. There's a lot going on. And not only that, there's no wire.
yeah.
There's no wire, and there's no ball. It's like an infrared sensor here, and it runs on batteries, and batteries last forever and stuff. So wow. It's crazy. I mean, I almost went from Model T to Tesla.
Yeah.
Cool. What else you got?
Next, we have on April 28th, iTunes Music Store launched. Record
iTunes.
execs wet themselves. Whoa.
I wonder, it's almost like, what does that mean? Record execs wet themselves.
They're
Does
like,
that
whoa,
mean
we
they got
can sell.
excited?
Yeah, we can sell things online now. What?
Oh.
We can buy albums legally.
I think that what Apple did cater to the music industry and promised them to keep it secured. And man, it's almost, you have to, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to get your music off of your iPod or your iPhone and stuff like that. But you have to go and jump through some hoops with Fire in order to get that music off, and be able to convert them back to MP3s. Because yeah, they're not easy to transform. So they made it really difficult. So your normal user would never bother. You just have to keep your account in good standing with the Apple Store, and you always own your music. And as long as you have an Apple product, you're going to have access to it, no problem. But if you ever left Apple and went to another device, now you're like, oh, I can't play this anymore. You can download iTunes onto your Windows machine, but it's not the same as having a MacBook and having an iPhone or an iPod, and everything's just easily accessible, and so, but yeah, they really made the executives feel comfortable with, like, look, we're going to make it, we want them to buy legitimately from you, and we're going to make it so that they stay with our hardware, as well, so that they cannot leave our hardware. And I want to say it's less than 0.001% of the population that moves their music off of Apple hardware, but they got to jump through hoops with Fire. It's not easy to do it. And so that's cool. What else we got?
On April 29th, Spurgeon says say sassy.
Yeah. This one here, I think, was a little bit bigger, a little bit more destructive than.
Oh yeah, 1 million Windows computers.
Yeah. But this was already 2004. The internet was already, a lot more advanced than 1999. A lot more people were online, so it was just easily spread a lot easier. It's a big pile of sassy. This one doesn't have any dates tied to it, huh?
No.
The other one was pretty brilliant, I gotta admit. Like, if you didn't tell me about the Chernobyl place and we didn't link those two together, I would have never So yeah, it's kind of cool that they not cool that they created a virus, but it was creative of them to link it to some big disaster. So, cool. What else do we got?
On April 30th, the World Wide Web made public domain.
On what year?
Oh, the year of my birth.
You're only months after the web was born.
Wow.
Can you imagine people born on April 30th, 1993? They're the same age as the World Wide Web.
Wow.
You share a birthday with the World Wide Web. Tim Berners-Lee, they say he's the creator of the World Wide Web because he actually, if I'm not mistaken, he created the HTML language, the W3C. I think he's the one that actually came up with HTML, and then one of his employees came up with CSS. Let's see if I can do a quick look for HTML. There you go. All the next computers, huh?
Oh, yeah. Running on a next.
The first web page address. Yeah, what is this? Let's see. Whoa, this is.
Yep, this looks old.
This is it. It definitely looks old. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was involved with HTML, and he's the one that came up with the protocol. So the protocol itself requires HTML, and so HTML would be the hypertext markup language. But I remember he was involved with something with HTML as well. So the guy was heavily involved with the whole movement of the web.
Wow, that's cool.
Pretty cool. What else do we got?
Then on May 1st, GPS gets less selective.
Less selective. Oh, this is where they improved the accuracy for civilian GPS devices from 100 meters to 20 meters. I think today the accuracy is allowed down to 9 meters or 3 meters. I forget which one it is. I think it's 3 meters because 1 meter is about 3 feet, I believe. So it's like a 9 foot. It could be 9 meters though, because they did talk about being in the middle of the street and then being able to notice that the house was there. And so that's about 9 meters, I believe. And so, but yeah, cool. So this is when GPS became a little bit more accurate. Good stuff.
And last but not least, for this week in history, we have May 2nd, Microsoft axes Mousy. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. So because man, there was something that I saw on YouTube or read, or maybe it was like the documentary. No, you know what? I believe it was an interview where they were talking to Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and they got into a little like passive discussion, like a passive argument almost, of how Steve Jobs kind of passively accuses Bill Gates of taking the whole Windows idea from the Mac, and then Bill throws it back into Steve Jobs' face and says like, well, you stole that idea from Xerox when you were, and he talks about what he was doing there. And they even talk about how, man, it's like, I wish I could go back and find it. That'd be a good find. Bill Gates just mentions the project and he describes like how Windows was used on the Xerox copiers. And so I believe that they might have both been doing something with, now that I'm seeing this, because they came out on the same date. No, a few days after, from the April 26th to May 2nd, Microsoft comes out with their mouse, which is just as clunky as the other one. So, but look at the connectivity. They're using serial ports.
Yeah.
They're not even using like USB or anything like that. Those were the only, you had parallel ports and you had serial ports. And those are the only 2 ports that were available on computers back then.
Wow.
So,
That's so weird. Is that one wire or is it like 2 wires? Is there another part that connects to the other end?
that's a good question.
It looks weird how it's connected.
Let's see what I think it's just one wire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see it here.
Yeah, it's just one.
Yeah, I think the fact that it just came around, it was probably just wrapped around. Look at Microsoft Word on these 5.25-inch discs. And it even had a manual with it.
Wow. Word processing program.
You don't see this stuff anymore. There was a, this is where it read the disk, right in this area. Kind of see it. I don't know if you could see it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were showing how close the needle would get to the disk in order to read. And they showed a speck of dust, and like the speck of dust. So if the needle, let's just say that this was a needle, the needle would get like this close, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a speck of dust would be like this big in comparison to the length or the how far the reading head was. They showed a hair, like the round section of the hair would be like this big. A smudge of a fingerprint would be like this big.
Oh, wow.
In comparison to how close the reading head would get to the discs and stuff. And so it was always important to hold on to that disc from here and always put it into its anti-static sleeve in order to be able to protect it, And so it's pretty crazy. Cool.
Yep.
What else we got? That's it?
That's the last one.
Man, that's some old technology there. How much of this stuff do you, I guess, like as far as the mouse, you were still using wired mouse when you got your first computer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you didn't have wireless. You still had a
No.
wired mouse.
But they didn't look like that for sure. It looked like
It did look a little bit more like this.
yeah.
Yeah, it had it already came up with this shape. So this has
I
been
remember the little ball and playing with the little ball at the bottom of a mouse.
always having to clean it. Because it's like you couldn't like the mouse itself, there would be like some speck of dirt that would like when you wanted to capture something in between that speck of dirt, that mouse would just like skip right over. Like, Dad, I can't get this. I was like, well, clean it out. You got to clean the ball, you clean the little wheels inside, And he's like, oh, that's what it's for. Cool. All right. Well, that's this week in tech.